Hello everybody. Let's spend a moment to talk about trustworthy AI. We see more and more people talking about ethical and trustworthy AI at every conference nowadays. And that is actually a wonderful thing, and it's so important that we can't stress it enough. It's so good that this topic is finally taking off. Why is it becoming so important? We have more and more AI integrated in every single decision, but it's also becoming more and more part of high-stake decisions. For example, university admissions, promotions, job applications, and so on. So it is important to actually be able to trust your data science and AI solutions. But what does it actually mean to build trustworthy AI? What do we need to build trust in our AI? First of all, transparency. We need to have model fact sheets. What data is being used, what algorithms, how do we know how it's trained, how often is it retrained? A fact sheet that lives with the model and makes it audible. Second, explainability. Understanding how AI-led decisions are made and which factors actually drove the decision. We need to be able to open up the black box. The simple answer on why did I not get this loan? Why did I not get this university degree? Cannot be, oh, the model told us so. You have to give reasons and you have to explain how the decision was made. And you need to say ABC was a reason, and by changing this and this and this, you actually have a good chance of getting the loan next time. The third one is fairness. Ensure proper monitoring and safeguards are in place to mitigate for bias and drift. We need to make sure it's equitable treatment of all people. Next one is robustness. Trustworthy AI at scale guards against adversarial threats and potential incursion to keep the system healthy. And the last but not least is privacy. Data needs to be safeguarded through the entire life cycle, from training to production, and there needs to be governance around it. These are the 5 pillars that we need to hold all AI decision engines accountable against. If we fail in these, the risk of our AI solution actually outweighs the reward, and you'll end up in the news for the wrong reasons. Let me give you a few examples. For example, what we've seen in the past in policing and security. We pushed facial recognition on the market that wasn't ready, that was highly biased, and so it actually was against the fairness principle. And it didn't end well for the governments and the police that actually used it. The second was what we saw in the UK government recently when they did school degrees on AI solutions. The students asked, why was this decision made? And they were actually in breach of transparency, explainability, and fairness. We see it with supported cars. They use so much AI in cars, and you have to make sure they're actually robust against people tampering with the input data. You cannot have a car suddenly speeding up and crossing the street with 200 miles per hour because somebody tampered with a street sign. So there are so many issues that we've seen in the past, and only when you can make sure that your AI solution is actually able to fulfill the 5 pillars, then you can actually put it in place. As a manager or decision maker, do not make decisions on AI that you cannot trust, because people might be holding you accountable, and saying, oh, I didn't know why, is not good enough. We also have to learn to ask and say, just because a model said so doesn't mean it has to be right. As a decision maker, make sure the AI you're using is explainable, transparent, robust, fair, and protects the privacy of the people and the data that you use. And only then actually put it in place. Thank you.